Hi, this is Trey Passer. Welcome to my review of Thank You for Your Service. This movie stars Miles Teller, uh, uh, Balua Kalei, Haley Bennett is in. Amy Schumer is in this, which I didn't know at all. And this story is about these veterans, specifically three veterans that come home from the Iraq War and them trying to adjust to civilian life. And they tell you, they tell a story of three different and the main character played by Miles Teller is Adam Schumann. Okay, he has a wife. Excuse me. Named not named Saskia. And he has two kids, young kids, and he he was I guess a spotter. I guess you'd call his character a spotter. And he would be riding shotgun in a RV in a Humvee, and try to find spot if anybody was trying to attack the formation. And he's like the main character. And then you have Balua Kalia. He plays Tashula Ayeti. He's a Pacific Islander, and he's like best friends with Miles Teller's character, and he's having trouble adjusting to civilian life as well. He's about to become a father, but he has severe post traumatic stress, and he can't remember things. Okay, so he's having hard time adjusting to civilian life as well. And then there's the third character, played by Scott Hayes, Michael Emery. He's another guy who's getting ready to get married, and he's coming home. And he's looking forward to starting his life with his new wife, who's waiting at home, waiting for him. And this story is basically about these three different characters and them trying to adjust to civilian life, and of course haunted by the war and what happened in the war. Now, I was looking forward to seeing this movie, and overall, I have to say it was an okay movie. It was kind of disappointing because they don't really flesh out these characters as much as I think I wanted them to be fleshed out. I mean, they do tell you some things, but not everything. And some characters get the short end of the stick, okay, rather than and even Miles Teller's character, who's the main character. I don't think you don't really get to know everything that he's thinking. I mean, up until a certain point, they don't really, they bounce around from his story to the other two characters' story, and you don't really get a sense exactly. They do have some flashbacks, but you don't really get a sense to know what happened. I mean, these characters have been suffering for something that happened in the past, but you don't really get to know these characters as much as I think the movie could have been bitten not bitten could have been written better, okay, with and let you know more about these characters. I mean, they let you know a few things, but I think a lot of the characters got short shrift, especially like the Pacific Islander character played by Beulah Kalei. His character is, like I say, he's about to become a father, and he can't remember things, and he's suffering really. You can tell his character is really suffering, and he's one of those guys that he doesn't speak that much, but you can tell there's a lot going on, and I would like to spend more time with his character and the actress who plays his wife. I think they got kind of short shrift in this story. And then in the third character, played by Scott Hayes, Michael Emery, his character really gets the short end of the stick. I don't want to spoil it. And Amy Schumer actually was in this movie, and which I didn't know at first. I didn't recognize it at first, but then I recognized her, and I thought she was okay. She has more of a small role in this, but I thought she was actually pretty good. And Haley Bennett, who plays Miles Teller's wife, yeah, she's okay. She's decent in this again, but again, you don't spend that much time with her character, which kind of takes away from you getting to know her character and wanting to care for them. And I think the guy who wrote and directed this is the guy who wrote, I think, American Sniper. So I guess this is his first film directing, and I think maybe that's the problem. This is the first time director, and he didn't know how to. I think the story was severely underwritten, which is a shame because you do get good performances out of Miles Teller and even the guy that plays his best friend. They actually give pretty decent performances. It's just that the characters are kind of underwritten, which kind of takes away from the story. Which and you like, I would like these characters to be in a better movie, which is unfortunately this is based on a true story. I just felt that the characters were severely underwritten. I mean, the story usually, with characters that they're suffering from the war, that, but they don't really get into depth with the characters, which I think was a disappointment to me. but it's still a decent movie, and you do care about the characters somewhat. But I wanted more. Exactly. So, and it kind of disappoints me that way. But it's an okay movie. It's not as good as American Sniper for sure. So I'm gonna give Thank You for Your Service. I'm gonna give it a 6.8, and that's mostly because of the actors' performance. They do the best that they can with but the parts are severely underwritten. So I'm gonna give it a 6.8 for Thank You for Your Service. It could have been an 8 if this movie was better written, I think, and you got to know the characters better. I think it would have been definitely pushed this movie up to an 8. But again, 6.8 for me. Anyway, let me know what you think of Thank You for Your Service. Have you seen it? What do you think of it? Feel free to leave comments down below. I'll leave I have links to my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram in the description box as well.